Our next speaker is the CEO of Small Business Consulting Corporation that assists the DoD in finding and connecting the innovative leaders and companies to help transition their best technologies for the nation's most critical defense missions. Let's give it up for the one and only retired Chief Master Sergeant Jason Barnshaw.
I can't hear a word she's saying. Oh man, what's going on? What are y'all doing? Y'all playing me with this thing like I'm a little guy. All right, let's get up here. All right, so this is a quick hitter, so we're gonna jump right in. There's no, I'm not gonna give you any fancy introductions or anything like that. Don't let the beard and stuff fool you. I did just retire out of here very, very shortly ago. What was it, last August? So retired life is good, I'm not gonna lie. But for y'all, all y'all still, you blue suiters, yeah, keep pushing on. Like, I'm here for you. But yeah, let's dive right in. It's funny listening and some of the examples and everything, like it's hard to follow that up because it was so passionate, right? It was so impactful. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a second and we're all gonna travel back in time a little bit. Each and every single one of you. And I hope you have something to write with because I am gonna ask you to write some stuff down. So if you don't, as I'm talking, go ahead and find something to write with. And I want you to think back. And I want you to think about a leader. Doesn't have to be in the Air Force. It could be before you joined. It could be at any time in your life. That when you think about this individual, it kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth. Oh yeah, we're going that way. A person you think of that kind of gives you a little bit of heartburn. Maybe they weren't there for you. Maybe they didn't support you. Maybe they set a bad example. I'm gonna be honest with you, when you think about this person, you get kind of pissed off. You get kind of irritated, kind of frustrated. And I need you to hold on to that person right now in your mind. And I'll tell you about mine. We're gonna call him Jeff because I think he still has relatives that serve. My very first supervisor. Now again, we're gonna go way back because I'm old. Graduate tech school, shoot home, I'm gonna pick up my car. We ready to roll. I'm heading to Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina. Yeah, let's go. I'm excited. So what I did back in the day, we had these things that you kind of unfolded and you looked at to figure out where the hell you was going, called a map. And I got that bad boy and I started driving, right? Because I'm from Philadelphia. Whoop, whoop, go Birds. And I got lost. Like lost. Now, I didn't fly to some other damn state. But I got lost. So I stopped at this other thing that we used to have back in the day on the side of the road called a payphone. And I called the number, which was directly to Jeff. Luckily for me, he answered the phone. Hey, sir, like, I'm lost. Can you help me out? Figure it out. Okay. So I did. I figured it out, and I finally got to Shaw, and again, I'm a brand new airman, zero striper. Get there Sunday. No, I got to be at work on Monday. I don't know what time. 8 o'clock sounds good. I roll in at 8, happy, ready to get going. And my entire flight's already in formation, and Jeff spots me walking across the parking lot. And he starts yelling. Pulls me in front of the formation, and I'm gonna talk to y'all like adults, because that's what we are, and rips my ass up one side and down the other in front of everybody. This was my first impression. This was Jeff. And I proceeded on with Jeff for the next year and some change. What are some of the things Jeff did? Jeff was a bigger guy, right? I was a maintainer. We worked on the flight line in South Carolina. It's hot, man. Jeff always had a towel on him. Swipe and sweat, wipe and sweat, wipe and sweat. I'm like, that Jeff sweats a lot. But then one day it caught me. I was like, gin? Jeff used to come to work drunk. We'd be up on top of the F-16 because I'm a little guy. I had to work on a small aircraft, right? And we'd be working on stuff, and you would do something wrong, and Jeff would smack your hand with a wrench. That shit hurt. That was Jeff. Jeff is the type of person that would sign us up for weekend duty and then not show up. And then what happens when you got a couple airmen with no supervision? We do airman things. But don't you worry, because Jeff was there Monday morning with paperwork ready to go. That was Jeff. I remember the last time I said a word to that man. I'd just gotten off of leave. Got back on Monday, went in on Tuesday. And I walked into Jeff's office. And I wanted to ask him a question. And I got the whoa out of my mouth before he reached down to the side of his desk and grabbed an axe handle. No head, just a thick-ass handle. And he smacked me on the shin with it and said, "We don't ask questions here." I promise you, I thought that man broke my shin. I literally ran to the bathroom, tearing up in pain. And I never said another word to that man. He was my supervisor for about 6 months after that, but I promise you, I did not say a word to that man. But that was Jeff. That is what I thought all leaders in the Air Force were. That is the leader that, when I think about, pisses me off because I deserve better. Irritates me because I deserve better. So those folks that maybe you had written down on a piece of paper, for those that did, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to tear that off right now, and I'd like you to slide that piece of paper into your left pocket. Yeah, I know you're messing up your stuff. I know. Well, you don't even have pockets? Well, you're not doing well in this exercise. That's your left pocket. So if we're going to talk about the negative, we got to talk about the positive. So now I want you to think back on that leader or that individual that I'm going to tell you right now, when you think about, just brings a damn smile to your face. That you're just like, yeah. That brings a joy to your heart. Somebody that you know, you probably wouldn't be where you are today if it wasn't for them. And I want you to write their name down. And as you're doing that, I want to tell you about mine. And again, to do this, we're going to have to hop in the DeLorean, hit 88, and then travel back in time. My older folks in the crowd got that joke. I was stationed at RAF Mildenhall in the UK. It's a brand new staff sergeant. Things were good. Just re-enlisted. Had a wife. 2 sons. Everything was good. Until one weekend, let's just say I made a poor choice. And that poor choice got me in Article 15 for assault. That Article 15 got Staff Sergeant Barnshaw quickly demoted to Senior Airman Barnshaw. And it's funny because, trust and believe when I tell you there is nothing wrong with being an airman, but damn, man, when you're already an NCO and you're starting to feel it and you're starting to take that on to go back, man, that was a pill that was really hard to swallow. Right? And it wasn't the pay that really bothered me. It wasn't the accountability, because I took responsibility for what I did. It was the little things like answering the phone. I didn't want to answer the phone, Airman Barnshaw, because I was ashamed. Shit, I didn't even tell my mother what happened until I sent her a damn email and forgot to take my signature block off. So now I had to explain that. Right? My career wasn't great up until then, but it was my career. We were good. I told you, like we started hitting a flow. And now it's just like, shit, what am I gonna do? Things couldn't get worse. or so I thought. You see, being in England, the last thing you want are those middle of the night phone calls. And I got one of those one night. And it was my mother. And I couldn't really make out what she was saying, but then I finally heard her. She was like, Jason, I just need to let you know that, like, Grandma's gone. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. At first, logically, Grandma, kind of old. Okay, like, this sucks. But then she said something that I can still hear to this day. No, Jason, you don't understand. Your grandmother was murdered. She was robbed and beaten to death with a hammer. We didn't have much growing up. I was already going through the Article 15 and the demotion, and I hopped on the first thing smoking back to the States. And I tried to be there for my mother and my father, whose mother it was. And we buried her. And I tried to be there. And again, when I say we came up from the mud, we came up from the mud. We didn't have anything, so much so that after we put my grandmother in the ground, me and my cousin had to go to her house and clean it up. And just as quickly as I got there, my leave ran out, and I had to go back to that same shitty situation that I just left. When I say I was a shell of myself, I was a shell of myself. The best word to explain it, which is why you heard the music when I was walking up, was numb. And that's what I was. I was numb. You fast forward a few more months, and probably rightfully so, my wife files for divorce. And then takes my boys, the only really thing I had to live for at that point, and sends them back to the States. Dude, I had nothing. Nothing. I was a shell of myself. I don't even know how I made it through the next year. It involved a little bit of alcohol, some self-coping, but I was a fucking mess. And then I get orders. And the funny thing about Article 15s and non-judicial punishment is not only do they travel with you, they usually get there before you do. So here is my soon-to-be leadership at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, North Carolina, Shady J, whoop, whoop, sitting around the table asking themselves, who's going to take this piece of shit? And I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't even have taken me. Dude, I was done. My record sure showed it. Done. Until one man walked into that meeting late. And I didn't even realize he walked into that meeting late until I found out about 7 years later. Retired Senior Master Sergeant, GS-12, Mr. Byron Ash. Walked into that meeting late, asked everybody what they were talking about, got caught up to speed, and said 3 words that changed the rest of my life. I'll take him. I'll take him. And that's what he did. He took me in. He encouraged me, supported me. Let's be real, put a boot in my tail end when I needed it. Listened to me, made me feel valued, gave me everything I needed to fix me. Not Airman Barnshaw, not Sergeant Barnshaw, Jason. When I say I owe this man everything, I owe this man everything. He is the Alpha and the Omega when it comes to my career. I have had so many people support and encourage me to get to the point where I'm at right now, but none of them would have had an opportunity if not for Mr. Ash. None. That man means everything to me. When I say I love this man, I love this man. He was at my wedding. He's been at my promotions. Shit, he was just here at my retirement. He was the first person, scratch that, second person outside of Sherry, my lovely wife, that I called when I found out that I made chief. We have traveled over 7 hours just to have lunch with one another. When my father passed away, he filled in that role. That is Mr. Ash. That is a man that I owe almost everything to. So now with your person, I want you to, again, take that name and I want you to rip it off and I want you to go ahead and slide it into your right pocket. And then I need you to understand that over the past 10 minutes, you just made a choice. You sat and you thought, who the hell's gonna go in my left pocket? Who the hell's gonna go in my right pocket? And just like that, you made a choice of somebody that has interacted in your life. And what I need you to understand is people make that choice about you every single day. Every day. So the question is, what pocket are you going to get put in? Learning a lot about resiliency. And it is a lot of, I need to do this for me. I need to work on my mental health. I need to work on my well-being. But don't forget the other side of that. What the hell are you doing for others? I'm going to tell you, some of the most kindest and compassionate people in the world weren't born that way. They were grown through hardships, trials, and they understand what kindness and compassion can do for somebody. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a 5-minute interaction or a 5-year interaction. Every single person has that opportunity to have an impact on somebody else. So we're going to hop down. I'm going to walk around a little bit. Stay with me, camera guy. Right pocket. Sentence or less. Why'd you put them there?
Trick question wasn't in here. I was asked, but I would have put Shannon.
Not who.
Oh, why?
Why?
Sorry.
Why? Oh, you country. Why? Why'd you put them there?
Because even in the worst of times, they were the ones that supported me and my family. Pretty much say this to you, the story.
Support.
Smell like support, yeah.
I like it. What about you?
He taught me how to work on my problems outside of work. Stop bringing them to work.
Taught you how to work on your problems. Took an interest in you. I like it. What about you? Nice. That's a good word. Vulnerable. Taught her how to be vulnerable. You can try not to make eye contact with me, but we just locked together. Why did you put that person in your right pocket?
Humanity versus insanity.
Humanity versus insanity. I like it. I'm gonna dig deep in here. I'm gonna come to you. What do you got? What about your right pocket? Why did that person end up there? Consistency, positivity, inspiration. I'm gonna come to you, man. A good example. I like that. Coming to you. What you got?
Pretty much this individual saw my potential, brought the best out of me, and let me achieve things I could do aside from previously.
Saw your potential. Probably saw something in it that you didn't see in yourself. Right? One more. I'm going to come over here. We're going to go deep. You, sir. Why did that Yeah, look. Everybody's like, no, not me. Presence. I like that. It's funny. I could ask everybody in the room, and I would get a lot of very, we'll say, similar examples, right? Everything that kind of fits underneath the umbrella, and it's almost been the theme for today. And I could summarize all of that in one simple word. Care. They care. Or as I like to call it, gas. Give a shit. They did, right? They cared about something other than themselves. They cared about you. That is why you invest in people. That is why you take personal interest in people. That is why you are present. That is why you see the potential in others that they may not see in themselves. It's because you genuinely care. See, here's the secret. We all want the next greatest thing. We all want the 30,000 foot view. What's the new trick? What's the new tool? What's the new, technique to use? How can I do this? And all of that is great. But sometimes you just need to take a step back and get back to the basics and genuinely just care about other people. Because I promise you, you do not know what other people are going through. You do not know in your slight interactions with others that we are so quick to judge what they may be struggling with. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't wanna end up in that left pocket. That's not where you wanna be. It is literally that simple. So before we wrap up, and I know this is gonna be a quick one, and I don't wanna get yanked off the stage, but I have not only some homework for you, but two charges. Your homework is easy. I don't care what you do with that name in your left pocket. Go home, throw it away, do whatever you got, don't care. But I'm gonna tell you what, that name in your right pocket, leave it in there. And when you take it out tonight, I need you to reach out to that individual and say thank you. Because I promise you, it's probably been a while since you've done that. But I need you to reach out to that person and tell them how much they meant to you. I need you to reach out to that person and tell them the impact that they've had on you. Because chances are they don't know. But damn sure they deserve to. And then your two challenges, your two charges. My charge is to you, and I promise you, if you take care of the first one, the second one is going to take care of itself. You've gotten so much knowledge today. People just constantly pouring into you, and like, I love it. Everybody knows it. Knowledge is power. False. Knowledge ain't power. Knowledge is meant to be applied. Knowledge is meant to be shared. That's when it becomes powerful. Knowledge in itself is just knowledge. You have to apply what you've learned today. You've got to pour that into others, what you have learned today. That is your charge. It's the difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? When you start applying knowledge, that's where you get wisdom. Look at it this way. Knowledge lets you know that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom lets you know not to put that shit in a fruit salad. Apply your knowledge. And if you could take care of charge number one, charge number two is easy. Be a right pocket person for someone. Be a right pocket person for someone. And my prayer to you is that you will one day, if you haven't already, come across your Mr. Ash. But more importantly, you will be a Mr. Ash for someone else. That is my charge to you. With that, I'm going to open it up to any questions. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to open up to any questions. That's all I got for y'all. Told you it was going to be a quick hitter, in and out. You're always, look, where's my $5? I'll get back up on stage, I guess. I'll use the stairs this time. My knees can't handle that.
Okay. How can leaders use adversity as a catalyst for growth and positive change?
I think going back to what I said earlier and understanding that, number one, everybody has a story. Your story is important enough to share because you never know who's going through something very similar, right? And there has not been a person, it doesn't matter if you look on the celebrity side, military side, There has not been a person of success that has not been dragged through the mud at some point. All heroes have an origin story. All of them. And it's funny, I heard a story one time that both heroes and villains have origin stories. How they react from them origin stories determines which path they take. You could be a hero, you could be a villain. You could be a left pocket, you could be a right pocket. So my suggestion to that would be transparent, vulnerable, open up a little bit, and understand that your voice needs to be heard. And it probably needs to be heard from those closest to you. Because those are the ones that are looking at you wondering, do they need help? Is there anything I can assist them with? Are they struggling? Open up. Lead that way. Lead through vulnerability. Doesn't mean you got to boo-hoo and whine about everything, but damn, man, share something. You don't put that uniform on and just punch a damn clock. Also understand this, especially for my blue suiters in here, and I do appreciate Big A. Trust me, I just told you, Mr. Ash, civilian. I love my civilians. Best damn supervisor I ever had, civilian. But for my blue suiters that put that uniform on every day, understand this, that uniform doesn't make you great. You make that uniform great. Big difference. What else you got?
How do you navigate the fine line between being resilient and recognizing when it's necessary to seek support or ask for help?
Speaking from experience, we think we can tough everything out. That's what I did for the longest. Even after the whole Mildenhall, Eglin fiasco, I still internalized everything, compartmentalized everything. So much so that I ended up breaking myself again because I didn't ask for help. I didn't lean on my support system. I wanted to be strong. I had a reputation to maintain. I was a chief. I don't have no damn issues. Till I ended up in intensive outpatient treatment for 6 weeks because I mentally broke down. And if you think we're going way back in a time machine for that, that was 18 months ago. Right before I retired, 6 weeks in intensive outpatient treatment because I didn't understand that there was such a fine line and I wanted to be the tough person. And I had too much ego. Just raise my hand and just simply say, I need some fucking help. I'm struggling. And it broke me. Luckily for me, we got some great support agencies. We got some folks that really care. There's that word again about our mental well-being and our health, not just physically, but mentally. And I leaned on them. But it is a fine line. And I'm going to tell you, once you feel yourself start teetering one way, it's almost at that point too late. I don't care if you think everything is going good for you right now. Probably a good time to at least start talking to somebody. Doesn't have to be mental health, doesn't have to be any, but they're there. But shit, talk to a friend. Talk to a mentor. Talk to a peer. Open up with what you are going through. Talk to a family member. Because once you get past that point of no return, like I did, the damage is already done. And I will be in a constant state of healing. But I'm okay with that. Because it allows me to get up here and share my story with others. I love you too. Like y'all can't see over there. Phillips is like, love you.
Hiding behind me.
I love you too.
How do you work towards work-life balance?
Oh, that is a great question. Number one, you don't. There's no such thing. I cannot stand work-life balance. This is just Jason's opinion. Can't stand it. It's almost like time management. Don't like that one either. I manage the hell out of time. Guess what? Still only got 24 hours in a day. Work-life balance. Here's the problem with phrasing it like that. When we think of balance, we think of equal. We think of 50-50. Guess what? No surprise. It's never going to be like that. It's just not. So what I like to do is I like to reframe it. It's not work-life balance. It's work-life harmony. It's work-life integration. You have to understand that there are going to be times when Uncle Sugar, Uncle Sam for all y'all that can't catch up, Uncle Sugar asks y'all to give 80%, and you only got 20 to give to you and your family and all. But here's the deal. You also have to understand that when you go on leave, be on damn leave, right? You also have to understand that when there's potentially some downtime at work, focus on what you need to focus on. Harmonize. Harmonize. And as far as the integration goes, especially those with families or thinking about having families, integrate them into what you do. Bring them in. If there's a volunteer, I promise you, I served 4 years, best 4 years of my career as an ALS Commandant. Yeah. And I promise you, if we were volunteering with the students, my kids were there, right? My wife was there. Like we're checking that box. Like this is quality family time. Guess what I hit my wife with? Hey, you come to an ALS graduation? That's date night. I'll even put on my fancy suit for you. But that's the integration. I want them to get involved. I want them to understand what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Now, for some of y'all, it's going to be easier than it will be for others. But that's what it is. Scratch the balance out of your mind. Work on harmony. Work on integration. When you take leave, unplug from the matrix. I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't leave your shop without people calling you or the world falling apart, you're doing your job wrong. Ain't nobody in this room, including me, the group chief. None of us are that important. Sorry. Cannot happen. Train your replacement so much so that when you can take some leave, you can unplug from the matrix. Don't bother me. I will deal with any mess when I get back. But it's my time. My time. That's how I would do it. What else you got? You can cut me off whenever you want, but I'll talk the paint off of these walls.
You're good. The people want to know, do you work out? It's just what the phone says.
So joke's on you. When Robinson was like, oh yeah, the next person's, coming up gonna be like the NFL guy, and like, yeah, not me. Sorry. A whopping 5'8" and super unathletic. Not me. So sorry to disappoint. But yes, perfect example. The gym is where I fight my demons. If you go back and potentially look for, I don't know, soon to be retired pictures of Jason Barnshaw, he looks a little different, a little bit more round. Didn't have the flow that I got. But yeah, I let myself go. I told you I was going through all those mental health things. And like when I say I let myself go, dude, I'm a whopping 5'8". I shouldn't be walking around at 225. Sorry. Right? Knees started hurting. It's a really long way just to answer the damn question with yes.
I have a legit question to end
But I
this
do
with.
it for mental health. I see my guy there every morning. Every morning, 3 o'clock. I do it. I wake up that early because I need to work out before my brain realizes what the hell I'm doing. It's the only reason.
All right, last question. How can we continue the conversation on resilience beyond this panel discussion?
Stop treating it like it's taboo. Stop treating it like it's taboo. I look at resiliency almost the same way I look at the way we view failure, right? Like everybody wants, oh. Why? We all know that everybody makes mistakes, everybody fails, but yet there's a stigma when we think about failure. It's the same way with resiliency. We look at it like soft and touchy-feely, and I hate that shit. Like, I cannot stand it. I'll tell you right now, like, As leaders in this room, and I don't care where at on the organizational ladder you fall, you are leading somebody. And I promise you this, you are most definitely leading yourself, which is arguably one of the hardest things to lead. But at some point, the stigma has to come away from that. And we have to start embracing it for what it is. We lead human beings. We just happen to call them airmen and guardians. It's really that simple. It cannot be a stigma. If you are in the fight, I need you in the fight. And if y'all ain't paying attention to what the hell's going on in the world, the fight's coming. So I need you locked in, which means I need you completely locked in, which means that we need to start taking serious advantage of opportunities like this, and then also continuing the dialogue and the discussion when we get back to our work centers, when we get to our homes. Don't forget about that integration. Go home and tell your spouses or your kids what the hell you talked about today, how people got up here and shared their stories. That is how you do it. But it cannot be taboo anymore. It cannot be a 4-letter word. Easiest way to cross a damn bridge is straight on through that bad boy. Easiest way to get through an obstacle is to overcome it, walk around it, bust through it. Don't give a shit how you do it, but it needs to be faced. And I'll leave you with that. It's almost like the confidence thing. A lot of people think that they can fake their way to confidence. That shit doesn't work. Trust me, I tried. Failed miserably. No, you have to face things. You have to face things head on. That's where you build confidence. Yeah, you're going to suck at first. Guess what? We all do. But the more you get after it, the more confident you become, the more experiences you have, the more wisdom you will gain, and the more you will be able to impact others. Thank you so much for your time. I'm humbled and honored to be here with you today. Have a blessed, blessed, blessed rest of the day. Thank y'all.